Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Duels. This week we're going to be taking a look at our Mono Blue Artifact Control deck. As always, this video is sponsored by 5 Color Combo, so if you check the description you'll find a link to their website where you can find a store with custom Magic the Gathering tokens made by real Magic the Gathering artists. If that's the kind of thing that you're interested in, then be sure to check out the description below. Alright, I will see you in the games, guys. Okay, we're on the play. We have turn 2 Era of Innovation into counter spells, into holding up card draw. Doesn't do a great deal right now, but I think it's just a nice little setup hand for the future, so we'll go with it. Going to Island, pass the turn. Our opponent is rank 19 called Spizoicles? Something like that. Yep, okay. With these brand new Nissa sleeves. Oof. I wonder if he picked his deck. Yes, he did. He picked his deck sleeves based upon his deck. So we're going to see some sort of green deck here. Some sort of rampy sort of shenanigans. So we'll go Era of Innovation. Next turn we'll just hold up Scatter to the Winds for something we want to remove. If it's not a big deal we won't do it, but might as well if we will. Green black. Okay. He's got nothing to do. Fair play. We get an island, so island. Ooh, island, pass the turn. No point playing the Era of Innovation. Doesn't get us any value, but Scatter to the Winds guarantees that we don't see something horrible right here. Which on 2 mana isn't really a thing. Ooh, Zabzan. Alright. Green, black, and white for our opponent, so it's going to be land into Glimmer of Genius more than likely. Yeah. So, land, pass, quicker you pass, the more he thinks that it's because there's nothing in my hand that I can cast. It's unlikely, but there you go. So, if he doesn't play anything, we'll Glimmer of Genius and we'll refill our hand. But the chances are we're going to see something here worth countering. Oh no, he's just waiting for us to have some sort of creatures. I'm going to take the Insidious Will. That looks good to me. We've got plenty of land, so I don't need that. And okay, what we can do is if we Era of Innovation, play a land, we can hold up a counter again. There's no reason to play Whirler Rogue and drop our shields, because I think that's what he's waiting for. So as long as we maintain a counter, we can slow our opponent down sufficiently. The longer we wait on casting Whirler Rogue as well, the more value we can get off the Era as well, because the Thopter tokens will trigger the Era 3 times with Whirler Rogue, which is awesome. Okay. Nissa, Vital Force. That is well worth countering. Get rid of your Planeswalker, sir. Alright, like to see some card draw here. Oh, beautiful. Right, well, we're just going to play our Foundry. And if we did play Whirler Rogue, we'd get 2 energy triggers off. We've got no reason to get the energy, but do we want to commit to the board? Is that a thing we want to do? Maybe it's time. So we'd get 4 energy and 4 damage on the board, but we'd be dropping counter spell magics and we'd be dropping more card draw. I think it's just not necessary right now. I think we'll just hold up counters, get all those horrible things out of his hand. Might be a bit too slow perhaps, but we'll see if we get punished for it. Next turn we'll definitely Whirler Rogue. But right now, if he plays nothing, we just refill our hand, get more counters. More card draw. Good to me. We're actually generating enough energy to get towards our... Oh, nice. To get towards our Electrostatic Pummeler as well. So that's the thing. If we Whirler Rogue and don't trigger anything, it'll show that we have a counter spell in hand. We don't, but he doesn't need to know that. So we'll play it out as though we're holding up our mana for a counter spell here. Don't pay. And do not pay. Leaving up 3 mana, getting 4 damage on the board. Still not paying. As you can see though, we could get a lot of energy by doing this. But we have a backup in hand, so I'm not too fussed about that. The moment we see a pummeler though, I might consider setting up another play like this where we actually do spend all of our mana to get the energy in. Okay, he's going to make himself a 1-1. It's fine with me. If he plays anything, I'm going to pause that timer just to get him on edge. Ooh, Kalitas. Yeah, that will be a reason to hold up a counterspell. Oh dear, but we don't have one, unfortunately. Filigree familiar. You are not too useful, mostly because you won't be dying to draw as cards with Kalitas on the board. And that's kind of the problem. Okay. I think we're just going to get in for 2 here. Gonna hold up counters and hold up card draw simultaneously. See what he's got for us. If he has targeted removal for like a Whirlorogue or something like that, then we can point it at his Kalitas instead. So I'm really hoping he does something like that. Fleshbag Marauder. Not what I was hoping for, because we cannot redirect that. No, can we redirect that? But we are just throwing away tokens, so he's getting no value off of his Kalitas this way. And he's going to pass. So we're going to Glimmer of Genius. Dynavolt Tower. Huh. Do we want to take both of these? I think we want to take both of these. We've generated a lot of energy. So Dynavolt Tower is useful. Hello, Unsubstantiate. Alright. That gets Kalitas off the table when we need it to. Right, so 6 energy on the field. We can commit 3 mana to the Dynavolt Tower and still hold up a counter spell. 5 mana that would be. I'd kind of like to unsubstantiate Kalitas and counter him on the way back down. I think that's what I want to do. So that's 6 mana we've got to hold up. So we can only cast a 2 mana thing. And we don't have that, unfortunately. At any point we can sacrifice these Era of Innovations as well to draw 3 cards. So that's something to consider. Have we not hit our land drop this turn? I don't think we have. I'm going to sack 1. I'm going to draw some cards. Yeah, we didn't hit our land drop. So now I can. Now I can commit my Dynavolt Tower, holding up a counter with 2 mana left open for the Unsubstantiate. Which I think is really good. We do not want to pay. We're going to pass the turn. Okay. What have you got for us? All of our instants now, it should be noted, are going to start gaining as energy, and our artifacts also gain as energy, but we have to pay for that side of it. Deathcap Cultivator. Yep, you can have that. That one's fine by me. And he's not going to play anything. Do I want to bounce it now? Let's bounce it now. Screw it. He's not casting it this turn, which means if he is casting it next turn, then we can do stuff with our mana. The longer he waits, the worse it gets for him. Because we can now Dynavolt Tower, which allows us to do a 3 mana spell and leave open a counter for the Kalitas. And every instant now gets us 4 energy. If we paid 1, we could Theorist instead, I believe. Yes, we can. There's 2 mana for the Theorist, 4 mana for the artifact. So we're going to pay 1. Gain some energy there. Then we can Theorist. It's going to gain us some more energy. This Insidious Will is saved entirely for Kalatas. Unless, of course, he plays enough to tap himself out of not getting the Kalatas. And therefore we do something different instead. Okay, so we got 7 energy, so we can literally start pinging off his creatures if we wanted. We can also ping him. We'll see how we want to go about it. There's Kalatas. Kalatas is getting countered. We'll gain some energy. Beautiful. He's got 2 mana left open, which is enough for Dynavolt Tower to ping whatever that is. Okay. I'm gonna ping you in the face. Slowly drain you. In fact, you know what? Ping you again. Why not? So that's 6 damage to our opponent. We get an island. That's unfortunate. I would prefer answers, but you know, what can you do? Filigree Familiar. It's going to gain us some life, and then we're going to pay 1 on the era in order to gain some energy, which reactivates our Dynavolt Towers if he plays any sort of creature into it. So we've gotten rid of Kalatas, we've got rid of Planeswalkers. There's Gearhults we've got to worry about, perhaps. And there's Baby Nissa. There's a kind of a lot, to be honest, to worry about. So with that in mind, I think I'm just gonna pass the turn, leaving open my counter spell. Because if we whirl a rogue, we can't counter. But next turn we can whirl a rogue and pay several times over with the era. See, that's a thing I want to get rid of. So we're going to gain 4 energy here, which means we can ping our opponent for 3 again. See what he wants to do. Doesn't want to do anything, so we ping him. Take him down again. Just need some card draw and counter spells. Imprisoning the Moon isn't bad. It's a slow reaction to a Planeswalker, which is better than nothing, I suppose. We're going to play Whirler Rogue, though. So we're going to gain 6 energy if we pay 3 extra, which is another trigger for our Dynavolt Tower. Yep. And he's had enough. Understandably so. Let's see. Let's tap our... Oops, no, didn't mean to do that. Let's make Whirler Rogue unblockable. Tapping our Summon Sick Thopters. And I suppose we can do the same... Oh no, we can't quite. We can do the same with the Filigree Familiar. Oh no. I suppose we could hold off with the Dynavolt Towers just to get some 4 damage in. That doesn't cost us anything. So get him for 4 here. I'm not sure what he could do to stop us from winning here, because he's down to 4. We've got him down to a virtual 1 with the Dynavolt Tower. Removal for anything we want. We can scry next turn to make sure we get the optimal play. We can draw 3 whenever we want. So I'm pretty sure. Baloth Null. Return up to 2 target creature cards from graveyards. That'd be a Kalatas and a Flesh Bag, which is too slow. So I will allow it. I cannot cast either of them. He only has 2 mana open, so... We've got him there. On his end step, we'll scry. And then we get in with our Thopters, burn him with our Dynavolt Tower, and that's the game. Let's see. Spy Network. Draws his cards, gets us more Thopters. Why not? Sure. Don't need to, but he's left, so I can do what I want. I do what I want. Right. get in with our Thopter token, see what we draw. We draw. If it's Pummeler, I'd be really happy. It's not, it's a land. Okay, well, ping our opponent for 3, and that's going to be the game. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next game. Oh wow, we're on the draw, which is good, because that's a flood. 2 mana on the draw with Dynavolt Towers, Counter Magic, and an Era later into Glimmer of Genius. I suppose this is good enough. Depends on what we draw. If we draw into crap, then we're in a bit of a sticky situation. If we draw a land, it's pretty much exactly what I want, to be honest. Smuggler's Copter isn't too bad. Still need a land, because I'd prefer to go Era into Smuggler's Copter, or 2-drop creature into Smuggler's Copter. The other way around, sorry. We'll see. What do we draw? More lands, so that's not too bad. Means that we can go Era of Innovation into Smuggler's Copter and pay the 1 to get some energy. Or we could just hold up our counter spell after that. We'll see. I'm not entirely sure what our opponent's on right now. It looks like it's probably Prowess. It's usually where blue-red goes. Or it could be Thopters again. Vessel of Paramnesia. Okay, that's going to give us some indicator of what he's doing. Off the top of my head, I don't know what he's doing right now, but... I suppose we could go... Island... He's probably playing Mill, actually. That would be my guess. So next turn he could find himself a... Sphinx's Tutelage. So maybe we want to hold up our mana to make sure that those never land. Because as soon as we get rid of his 3 Sphinx's Tutelage, he's out of the game. So he could go land into Tutelage here, which would give him a fighting shot. We'll see. He didn't hit his land drop. That's good. I get the feeling he had something to do though, but he was holding it back. So we're just going to go Inventor's Fair and pass again. If he does nothing, then we get to Glimmer of Genius. If he does something worth countering, we counter it. We're going to find out. If it was Prowess, then he'd be casting creatures already. There's a Fevered Visions. I'll let that set. That's fine with me. I'm just looking for the Sphinx's Tutelages mostly. We'll take an island. Start emptying our hand a little bit. Does mean we're going to start taking damage, but as soon as we've got enough artifacts, it's going to be halved by the one life gain off the Inventor's Fair. So it's not going to be too bad. So we could go Ether Theorists here into Smuggler's Copter. You either go Theorists and just hold up counters as well. Just want to hit our land drops mostly. Because then we can start really emptying our hand, and then Sphered Visions just helps after that point. So I think just passing the turn here is the right play. So we're going to take 2 damage. We get another counter spell. That's great. Next turn we can do 3 drop and hold up a counter. Just waiting for those tutelages. Skyline Cascade, not a problem. It's a tap land for our opponent. And that is all it's going to do. And Minister of Inquiries. Yep, sure. He has to use energy to be able to mill us for, like, what? 2 cards? Top 3, actually. Slip through space. Okay. Draws him an extra card, but that's it. Forgot they got these new little utility cards, actually. For a little bit of a more cheap and aggressive version. He's going to mill us with his Vessel, sacking it, making us drop 3 cards, I think. Yeah, 3 cards. We lose card draw and counters. Sure. I just don't see our opponent can really kill us beyond the fevered visions, but we've got our eye on it. We do have ways of bouncing it later on if we choose to do so. And also destroying it as well. So we've got 6 mana. We can go Dynavolt Tower into Broken Concentration. Essentially meaning that we're going to start generating energy here. It's another artifact to get towards our Inventor Sphere. We do not want to pay. And we can, if we want, start attacking the Minister of Inquiries. I don't think we want to, though. But we draw, we lose. The moment we get into our electrostatic pummeler, it's probably going to be the game, because we can hold up counter magic to keep it safe. We're going to be generating energy just because he's not really doing anything. There we go, that's what I want to see. Broken Concentration, get rid of your Sphinx's Tutelage. Don't tell me you got a Dispel. If he's got a 1 mana Dispel, he can counter our thing, but looks like he doesn't. Okay. Whew. You had me worried there. So, Dynavolt Tower next turn into Scatter the Winds. Yet again. That Skyline Cascade kind of hurts us, because if we tap our Theorist now to scry, then he won't untap. So I'll hold off a turn on the scrying. I think being that we've got a counter in hand, Dynavolt Tower and stuff like that, I don't think there's any issue. So he's just going to mill us really slowly with his Minister. If we do lose the Pummeler, though, we lose the quickest way of us winning. He's got to bear that in mind. More lands. Not great, but what can you do? Right, this one's going to officially activate the Inventor Sphere, which will double the amount of time we have to find our answers through the Fevered Visions. And I can afford to pay 1 on the Era here, holding up the Scatter to the Winds. We've got 9 energy to spend. We can start killing off his thingamajigs, or we can just start pointing them at him. So we're down to 14. We're going to go up 1 life anyway because of the Inventor Sphere. A bit flooded on mana. I don't want as much lands as we've got. So Smuggler's Copter's probably going to come down next turn, so we can start looting away some of these islands and finding better options. As I mentioned, though, as long as Scatter's open for his tutelages, we're just fine, I think. I'm not sure we can really do to hurt us, other than put more Fevered Visions down, but if we see another one, that one's going to get countered. Oath of Jace, sure. Absolutely, you can draw 3 and discard 2. He's not really doing a very good job of milling us at this point. A fair few of these cards that are in here are because I've cast them, so... And if you see what level he's at compared to what we're at. So he's just dropping some card draw. Okay. If he's dropping card draw, I'm fairly confident. We'll let that one go as well. That's fine. I'm fairly confident that he's got Sphinx's Tutelage already in hand, ready to go. Expedite to give his Minister haste. So he can actually mill us for 9 here. That is actually kind of a problem. So these Dynavolt Towers are actually going to go point at his Ministers after this. Yeah. It's time these guys go. They are actually a problem officially at this point in time. We will tap down to find a better option. That is not one that we want. Because any artifact that we get is going to get us 2 energy. Any instant we get is going to get us 4 energy. So, Smuggler's Copter here. Pay the 1. Yep. Okay, and we can even Alchemist Vial, actually. Not paying the 1, because we want to hold up the counter spell. Do not pay. Draws us into a counter spell. That's good. Okay, next turn, think I'm gonna, with the Inventor's Fair, we haven't lost our Pummeler, so I'm gonna go find him. That's what we're gonna do next turn. So this turn we just want to do a little bit of clear up. Make sure these Ministers and no Sphinx's Tutelages hit the board. Nothing unsavoury. We do have 3 artifacts now, so Sphinx, the Fevered Visions is only going to be doing 1 damage to us now. So we'll gain 1 on our upkeep thanks to Inventor's Fair. I am going to get rid of this though, just so that we can get that Pummeler and close this game out quickly. Because we can even either do 9 damage with our Dynavolt Towers, or I can do 32 damage with the same amount of energy with the Pummeler. And all I have to do is just keep it safe, really, so... Artificer's Epiphany, sure. There is a risk of us getting burnt out here, thanks to the Dynavolt Tower. Got that to bear in mind, but... Okay. Sure. So he gives it haste. He's going to start pinging us again. I'm actually going to get these off the table. So we lose 3. Lose 3 again. Please, no Pummeler. No Pummeler. Right, I am a bit worried about losing him now, because we are getting quite low down into our deck. So, we gain the life off the trigger. I'm going to go find it on my upkeep. Go get the Pummeler. Start generating some value off of that. Okay. Island. We can't put the Pummeler down now without potentially losing it. Because he's got Dynavolt Tower open at all times as well. That's the thing. So we'll use the Looter Scooter. It's 5 to use the Dynavolt Tower, so he's pausing prematurely. I'm going to loot. We draw into more lands. This is not what we want to see. It's getting a little bit worrying now. Okay. Era of Innovation. I'm going to drop more lands. Might actually loot us in the smallest... mill us out in the slowest way possible here. That is going to be a problem. Skyline Cascade stops us from using our Smuggler's Copter this turn. Minister to mill us for 3. Girapa Orrery. Alright, that actually helps. I'm going to let that one go because it allows us to play 2 lands per turn, which gets us closer to getting out of Fevered Vision's range and allows us to keep more mana open to do things we want to do. And another Orrery will allow us to completely empty the lands out of our hand. There's a bit of a nombo with Fevered Visions and Girapa Orrery because you cannot go empty-handed with the Fevered Visions. So it's purely for extra lands, which our opponent... Oh, blummy neck. There we go. That's 3 mana that we've just added there. Era of Innovation. And I think we might as well just pummel her here. Gets us some energy. Yeah, pay it. Pay it. More energy. Go loot with the Smuggler's Copter. And see what we get. Yep. Well, a rogue. Alright. That will probably let us close this game out incredibly fast. So we're taking the burn route now, officially. Screw Smuggler, the Electrostatic Pummeler. Because we can go Whirler Rogue, get the board nice and wide, get loads of energy, hold up counters to get Dynavolt triggers. Just so long as he can't burn us out, which is a realistic possibility with the Fevered Visions on the tower, but we'll see if he thinks we're going to go for the Pummeler victory here. If we had the energy, Pummeler could get us there. Brain in the jar, sure. Okay. Let's tap it for 1. So he has a 1-drop, perhaps? That he can play for free? I doubt it, but well, he might have the Expedites and the slip-through spaces, I suppose. Yeah, there you go. So he's got a free cantrip. If he wants to pay the 5 to try kill our Sphinx's Tutelage, we are going to counter that. I'm going to gain 4 energy, which allows us to keep our Pummeler safe, actually, through the Dynavolt tower, because we can pump it up. Huh. It's going to be really close. Slip through space again. More energy. We are down to 7 cards. But we're going to have lethal on board with the Whirler Rogue to make it unblockable, counter spells to keep it safe, and enough energy for the Dynavolt towers to not be able to do enough damage to kill it. Hopefully. It's a lot better if he lets us untap. Hoo 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 hoo. Okay. Ends his turn, draws an extra card. He's going to let us untap. Alright, it's down to this. So, we play an island. We've got... Well, he's tapped out, so we can spend all the mana we want on Era of Innovation triggers. Pay it. Pay it. Get 4 extra triggers. Keep paying. Alright. Next, we can... start putting counters on our Pummeler. He has no mana open, so I'm just going to keep doing this. Up to 2. Up to 4. Up to 8. We're out of range. We've done it. Up to 16. Up to 32. 64. 128. He has nothing to do to stop us. And that's the game. Whew. Jesus Christ. Oh. Got the adrenaline pumping, did that one. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like. It helps me out a great deal. Subscribe if you haven't already for more Magic content. There will be more following tomorrow. Be sure to subscribe for that. If you're not sure about subscribing, then stay for the end card. See the rest of the content I've got to offer. And as always, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.